Okay, I was born in 1938, and I was born in Long Beach in Bixby Knolls. And when my mother came home from the hospital, that's when I started living in Compton. And actually, my father was born in Compton. In fact, my grandmother lived in Compton. My mother and her family lived in Compton, and actually I had a teacher or two at school that had taught my mother. My mom and dad designed a house, and then my father hired someone to build the house, and we moved there when I was 1. So that to me has always been home. To be honest, it wasn't until I was grown and had left home that I asked my father, why did I never go to school in which there was a single black student in the entire school? There was a law, and it said that all the black people had to be out of town by 6 o'clock. If somebody doesn't even live in your community and you're not seeing them, it's like they're kind of out of sight, out of mind, I guess. And I think that it wasn't until college that I felt more exposed to other people. It felt very freeing, and it felt like being part of the world. And I think that's a very funny thing, because I always did feel free, but I really wasn't. Watts was the town next to Compton that was all black. Watts riots, it was all on. It was like war was going on. And it was shocking to me. On TV, you're watching huge fires. I mean, they're setting buildings on fire and destroying their own homes, and it was pretty shocking. I mean, here they were living in Watts, and they weren't allowed to be in Compton, which was next door. And it was hard for people like me to say, why are they destroying their own homes? But I think it was a burst of just, we don't want to live like this anymore. And I think it was a crowd mentality, and I think people had been storing up a lot of pent-up feelings for a long time. Compton had become basically black. What happened was, when a black family would move in, you'd see a whole block, and every house on that block except one would have a for sale sign. And that's when you knew what was happening. You knew that the one house was just bought by a black family, everybody else is going to flee. I remember very much the one time I felt prejudice, really. Prejudice, anger, hurt, everything. Because I wanted to see my old house, and we drove by the house, and at that point it looked like it had been through war, and it was really disturbing to me, very disturbing. We had a beautiful picket fence, that was gone. People used to drive by just to look at the landscaping, because my father did a beautiful job of the flowers, the trees, everything in our little Cape Cod looking house, and everything was destroyed. My perfect world, because that's how I felt about it. And so it was like, somebody destroyed our life, you know. I felt prejudice. Then I went to visit my uncle, who still lived there the same time, and he said to me, what on earth were you thinking? You cannot come into Compton, you cannot drive into Compton, you're not safe. And I'm not safe because I'm me and I'm white. It's like, I need someone to tell me, yeah, it really happened. It really was that wonderful place. And I didn't dream it up. You know, I didn't read it in a book. It's gonna never be the same Compton it was when I was there. So they're supposed to have made it better, but it was, you know, I would never go back. I think it's not a healthy thing for me to do.